The best thing you can do is to let it lock steering wheel out. You're looking at the steering wheel that I'll be replacing that one with. Here's the airbag that we're going to be using. This is the one that is going to allow you to be able to use the steering wheel buttons. This one. The thing that we are looking for the most is this one right here. If you get it through here, you are going to scratch the steering angle sensor. Here's the old steering wheel control module. This needs to go in here. Perfect. I think there's nothing more I can do. So on taking off the steering wheel, what you need to do is to turn the steering wheel all the way to the left and then turn it all the way to the right. The first thing that I'm going to do right now after turning the wheel like this is just to make sure that I disconnect the battery, and after disconnecting the battery, then I'll come back and continue with taking the airbag out. Okay, so now I'm back. What I need to do is just to pry at the back of the airbag right here and try to remove this tab which holds the bag inside. Once you get one tab out, it's going to be a bit easier because you'll know how you're going to be doing it. Okay, so I got one tab out. Turn the steering wheel onto the other side. Get the other tab which is holding the other piece of the airbag. Oh, yes, yes. So what I need to do right now is just to straighten up the steering wheel and then remove this airbag. So I think the steering wheel is usually straight when it's a bit like this. Okay, so now I can remove the airbag. So what you can do when you get to this point, right here, and then pull the airbag connector out. So what I'm going to do is just to do that. The airbag is out, so the pieces that you need to pry out are these pieces right here. As you can see, this, you need to push them in, push this other one in as well, so that you can be able to get the airbag off, so that you can be able to get to this bolt right here. So this bolt is an something. Wrong okay, right this looks like an M8. So here's how it's going to be. Put it on there, put an extension, because you're not going to be able to reach there with a ratchet alone. So let me get the steering wheel off. I think the best thing you can do is to let it lock. You're then going to be able to do this. Okay, so it's loose. Before I get it more loose, what I'll do is just to make sure that I remember the position in which it was, so that I can be able to at least get it a bit closer to that. Just somewhere around here. Yeah. So it is recommended that you replace this bolt when you remove it at least 2 times. So this bolt is not a use forever. It's a use when you remove, I think, for about 2 times. So if you're removing this for the 3rd time, you'll need to replace this bolt. Okay, steering wheel out. Here's the old steering wheel. So this steering wheel is still in a very good condition. As you can see, the leather is still very perforated, no wearing out at all, as you can see. So I'm thinking I'm going to sell this to someone who might need it. So I'll sell this, including the airbag. So this is the one that we're replacing. You can see it's very old. It makes the car look very old as well. So because we're replacing you, we're gonna put you on the side. So right here, you're looking at the steering wheel that I'll be replacing that one with. So this is a steering wheel from a Polo. So this is a very high line steering wheel. As you can see, it has these steering wheel buttons. It has a cruise control button right here where you can activate the cruise control using the buttons. This is cancel, this is add when you want to add the speed of the cruise control. This is minus when you want to reduce the speed of the cruise control. These are the volume buttons for the stereo. This is when you want to take a call, since these steering wheels do allow the controls to control the calls. Maybe this is when you're trying to switch or toggle between the menu. So yeah, here's the steering wheel that we're going to be replacing that one with, and here's the airbag that we're going to be using on this steering wheel. So let me try to install this steering wheel, and then we're gonna get the airbag in. So then after that, we'll need to code the steering wheel. So to code the steering wheel, you'll need a multifunction steering wheel control module. This steering wheel control module was bought from China, so it was couriered to South Africa. It took about, I think, 14 days to get here. Okay, so here's the steering wheel control module. So this is the 1K0953549CH. So this is the part number of this steering wheel control module. This is the one that is going to allow you to be able to use the steering wheel buttons, because if you do not have this kind of control module, you won't be able to use these buttons. So I'm going to install you, then we're going to install the steering wheel when we're done with that. So let's go. Oh, in case you want to see the steering wheel part number, so the part number of the steering wheel is right here. Not sure if you're able to see it. So the steering wheel part number is 5G04199091. So this is the steering wheel part number. Okay, so now that we're here, what you need to do is to remove these covers. I'm going to use this one. It's out. Let me put the pry tool back in its position. Now we can take this cover out. At least this is something. Okay, this is out. So we have to put this on the side. Now we have to check these two T20 screws. We're taking these screws out because we want to be able to reach the steering wheel control module. We still have another steering wheel control module bolt somewhere around here, but I guess it's broken because this is now falling off. There's somewhere it hooks onto the steering, so we can just unhook it from there. So as you can see, this piece right here is already broken, so I'm thinking it's stuck here. So here's the bolt, the last one that we needed to take out, but since it is stuck, we can just leave it there and take this cover out. So the thing that we are looking for the most is this one right here. So it has a screw right here, which is a T8. The T8 is out. Okay, now taking this off is a little bit tricky, because after taking out this T8, you need to get a wire which goes in this hole. It needs to be long so that you can be able to unclip this steering wheel control module. So this is not an easy thing, but it can be done. You just need to reach the right place and then unhook this. Do not make a mistake and get this in here, because if you get it in here, you're going to scratch the steering wheel angle sensor and you're now going to have a fault. What I'm going to do first is to start at the back, because there's somewhere where you get your finger in, and through getting your finger in, you can be able to press it, then unhook the other side. As you can see right now, it's a bit shaky because it has unclipped. What is left right now is just to unclip this side. So I need to get this in here. As you saw, it's out. Just like that. So you need to start at the back, then come to the front. Okay, so I'm using one hand, so it's a bit tricky for me to film everything for you guys, but I'm trying my best. So this is the piece which you need to press out with your finger, and after that, if you get the wire through here, you'll be able to reach this place and then just press this in. If you get it through here, you are going to scratch the steering angle sensor and you are going to have a problem. I once had the steering angle sensor issue on this video right here, so don't do that. Don't be like me. So after doing that, you'll need to take this yellow thing out. Just press the yellow connector, and when you press it, you push it back. I'm not able to do it because I'm using one hand and I'll need to be pulling out. And then after doing that, you'll need to remove this connector right here. So I'm just going to put the phone maybe somewhere where you'll be seeing what I'm doing, but you might not see it clearly as the phone will be a bit far away. But what I'm explaining to you is what you need to do to be able to get this steering wheel control module out. The first yellow connector is out. So to disconnect the red one, you'll need again these things right here, and pull out this red tab. As you saw, I pulled out this red tab. So after pulling out the red tab, what you do is just to press in here and disconnect this thing out. This is the red tab which locks in there that you need to pull out, and after that you need to press this down. You need to press this down, then pull out, and everything is going to come out. Here's the old steering wheel control module. The part number for this old steering wheel control module, which does not allow for the steering wheel control buttons, is 1K0953549AP. So this is what you need to replace and put the one which allows for the steering wheel control buttons. So right now in my hand, I have the steering wheel control module, which allows for the steering wheel control buttons. And you can see right here, which is going to show you the part number. The part number is 1K0953CH. So this is the one that we're going to be plugging on to the connectors right here. So to plug this back on, what you need to do is just to align it like that until it clicks, because there's this piece right here that you need to pull down. Do not press the red tab at this point, just try to align it so it clicked in to show that it's in. So now you can press back the red tab to lock it in. So it's locked in place right now, it's not going anywhere. Now what we need to do is just to put in this yellow connector. The yellow connector could be for something to do with the airbag, I'm not sure. Just push it in. It clicked in, so everything is good now. What we can do is just to push it back and make sure that it sits and connect onto the steering angle sensor right here. So what I was telling you, that if you put this wire all the way in at the wrong place, you are going to scratch, you're going to get to this place right here where you scratch the board of the steering angle sensor and you're going to have an issue. So now that this is in, what we need to do is just to align it, as this needs to go in here. So okay, perfect alignment. Perfect. Okay, now that this is aligned, what we can do is just to put back the T8 in its position. So this cover will be put back without this part right here because it already broke, so there's nothing I can do about it. As long as it clips on these two, it's more than secured. Make sure that it goes over this part where the key goes over. Okay, it's in, well dressed. The T20s need to go back into their place. So there are two tabs at the back right here. Fit this cover onto that groove and go onto the other one as well. Needs to go over there. Okay, now we can try to close it. Okay, this is fully closed in. So what we need to do is to make sure that this steering wheel aligns with this dot right here. Okay, it does align, but I don't think it's that straight. Let me try to get this steering wheel on in a perfect manner. I think there's nothing more I can do which is going to be way better than this. So the steering wheel is on. So now what I need to do is to put the airbag in. But before putting the airbag in, there's this plug right here that I need to connect on side the steering wheel. So I need to do that, and I don't think I'll be able to do that with one hand. So I'm going to put the phone somewhere and then be able to just try to do that. So let me just put the bolt. I think this is perfect though. So what I need to do right now is to torque up the steering wheel to 30 Newton meters and 90 degrees. Oh shit, I hit the mirror. God damn. So that's 30 Newton meters. Now I need to torque it to 90 degrees. So my 90 degrees is going to start here up to there. So that's 90 degrees turn. So the steering wheel airbag has a connector right here which goes in like this. So it needs to go underneath somewhere here. I'm not sure if I got it right, but okay, logged in. Now what we need to do is just to push the airbag in. So as you can see right now, the airbag is in. Seems like everything is good. Okay, so now the battery terminal is on. What I need to do is just to check and see if nothing happens. So far it seems like there's nothing wrong, but the way the car says there's no airbag, I guess it thinks things are out of place. What is surprising really is this. I get the horn, and when I try to control the stereo, I'll just make sure that I reduce the volume so that I don't cut copyright. As you can see, when I press here, the song changes. The song changes, and when I press OK, it reduces the volume right here. And I have not coded the steering wheel in yet. I'm really shocked at what's happening. But one thing I've noticed is that we now have an airbag warning light. So airbag fault, as you can see right there, and the airbag does not go away. So I think I need to rewire the wires of the airbag to match the original steering wheel wires, because this for me is because I have not got the right signals on the airbag wires, so this triggers a fault on the airbag. So I need to rewire this. Then after doing that, I'll then come back and code the control module. Okay, so I've opened up the airbag wires. These are the airbag connectors. These are both the airbag connectors open. So what you need to know is where to put wires. So these two airbag wires are on pin number 1, 2, 3, 4. They're on pin number 3 and 4. So now what I've done here as well is that I've put them on pin number 3 and 4. This is the ground for the airbag and this is the positive for the airbag. So as you can see right here, this airbag, can see the black and green are coming from the airbag connector onto the airbag connector right here. So we have the airbag connector right here, 1, 2. So you can see that these wires are definitely the same. They look the same. The only difference is where everything is. So now we have ground for the horn, we have power for the horn. As you can see, we have ground on these wires, but these wires are 4, and when you can check the clock spring, you'll see that there are 4 wires coming from the bottom of the clock spring. So that will enable you to be able to connect these wires. So let's say your wires are not in the right place. So you'll check on the original airbag where the airbag wires are. So here they're on position 3 and 4. That means you'll need to put this green and black wire onto position 3 and 4 on the airbag connector right here. So let's say horn for you is on position number 7 and 8. Then that means you'll need to put the horn wires on position 7 and 8. So that's just it. Now let me try to fit this back in the car and see if everything is gonna work. Okay, so while rewiring the steering wheel airbag, I decided to also change these buttons. As you can see, this one is already broken right here. There's nothing inside, and also this is also broken. So I've decided to change the wall board which controls the steering wheel, because when you press on this, there's an input that comes from this board and then goes onto the steering wheel control module. Then it sends the signal to the stereo, then changes the track. So I've changed this. What you need to do so is to pry this thing out. This plastic, this one right here, does come out. So when it does come out, you'll then find 3 screws at the back, which are like this. So these screws are T6. You'll then have to unscrew these T6s, and then that's when you're going to have some access to change these buttons. So I've already changed these buttons because I think the motherboard or the PCB which is behind the steering wheel is different from the one that I want. So this is the one that when I was pressing, this was reducing the volume and doing some funny things which were not corresponding to what the actual button functions were. So I decided to switch this PCB and put this one that does not correspond to the functions onto this one, because I'm not going to use this one anyway, and took the one which was here and then put it back onto the car. So you realize that when we go back to the car, these buttons right here will not be the same anymore. It will only be the volume and the volume down. So I've done that so that you don't get confused when you go back to the car and ask yourself that no, this is no longer the same steering wheel. So the steering wheel will still be the same, however the PCB behind the steering wheel will be different. Okay guys, so now I'm back in the car. So I've reinstalled the airbag. I didn't show it again because I've already done it on the few clips that I shot. So like I told you, I've switched these buttons. As you can see, these buttons are the ones which were going to be on that old steering wheel, which I replaced the buttons of. So on this one right here, this was supposed to be next and this was supposed to be previous. However, those previous buttons and the next buttons have been broken, so I changed them and put these ones which were increasing the speed for the cruise control and this one were decreasing the speed for the cruise control. So because these ones were the ones which are good, I chose to keep this one on. So this will be a next for me, this will be a previous song. So this is a volume up button and the volume down button. So these ones are not going to be working because this board right here only picks up these buttons up to here. It does not recognize these ones at the bottom. What I need to do right now is just to code the steering wheel control module so that it can speak to this car and so that the car can know that it now has a steering wheel with steering wheel buttons. Okay, so now we're going to OBD11. Let me try to connect. we're now connected. So what we can do right now is to go onto the control modules. We need to go to steering column. So if you remember, the previous coding was all zeros and then the last numbers was 41. So now we need to change that coding and put a new coding. So here's what we need to check. These numbers have a meaning, so you need to know what each and every number means. So our new coding values is going to be 0 because our vehicle has no driver assistance systems installed. Then the next number is going to be on vehicle type. So our vehicle is normal, so we're going to put another 0. So the third one will be on transmission. Our transmission is manual, so we're going to put a 0 again. Then the fourth number is going to be on multifunction steering wheel, in brackets lean 1.3 or lean 2.0. Then our car has a multifunction steering wheel, so 0 does not apply. Then we have multifunction steering wheel without Tiptronic and without push to talk installed, so we're going to put a 1. Because our car has a multifunction steering wheel without Tiptronic and without push to talk, we are going to then push another 5. Then we go past that. Now we are going to cruise control system and adaptive cruise control. So our car has cruise control, so 0 does not apply because it says cruise control system not installed. Then 1 says cruise control system with 6 positions via separate stock installed. This is going to be no, so this one does not apply to us. Then we come to number 3. Cruise control system with 4 positions via blinker stock installed. Yes, we have cruise control system with 4 positions on the blinker stock. So we're going to put a 3 here. Then the last one, let me just minimize the buttons. So the last one is saying rear wiper and board computer. So 1 says rear wiper not installed, board computer via wiper stock not installed. So that does not apply to this car. The second one is 2, rear wiper installed, board computer via wiper stock not installed. That is incorrect. The third one says rear wiper not installed, board computer via wiper stock installed. So we are going to put on a 3. Oh, so this seems like it was already coded because it says coding value, which is current, is 1533, and the one that I just put in again is 1533. So for you, because maybe you might have a Golf 5, a Golf 5 does have a rear wiper, so you are going to put number 4, which says rear wiper installed, board computer via wiper stock installed. So if you have a Golf, you are going to put 134. If you have a VW Jetta 5, because it does not have a rear wiper, you are going to have 0001533 because you do not have a rear wiper on a VW Golf. I hope what I've explained on this clip is very, very much understandable, but if you do not understand it, we'll go through whatever it is that you don't understand. So now, because we've done entering the new coding value, we can just click and hold. Coding not changed. Right. It says coding accepted, right? So we can now exit this and go out. I'll check the faults later. Cruise control unit. So I think we have a new problem after installing this. So it says cruise control switch defective. Inside the stock is a sliding mechanism. So this is a new problem that we have right now. So we're going to have to sort this issue out. So we're going to deal with that later. What we need to do right now is just to check and see whether the steering wheel control buttons are now working. So I'm going to exit this because we're done what we wanted to do. Now let me go out. Okay, so we've coded the steering wheel control module. So one thing I've noted after coding the steering wheel control module is that we no longer have a steering wheel warning light, which was here before. I don't know why we no longer have it, because in my own knowing is that you'll need to recalibrate the steering by just turning it all the way to the left, turn it all the way to the right, and then put it on center, then drive a bit of maybe 20 meters, then stop, then turn all the way to the left again, and then turn all the way to the right, then put it back onto center. Then that will initialize the steering angle sensor. But hey, if we no longer have the issue, I'm happy to have that. However, we still have the issue with the airbag, so we'll have to note that. So let me turn on the stereo. No. I don't want to have any copyright, guys, so I'm sorry, I will have to reduce the volume. So let me see what happens when I try to increase the volume. So, oh, So it does work. Let's reduce the volume. It does work. I hope that little 3 seconds does not give me a copyright. So this works. Now let's go to next. Okay, this is working. Next. God's plan. Next. Okay, let's go back. This does work. So let me just mute because I don't want copyrights. It does mute, as you can see, this sign right here. Let me unmute. So that does work. Now let's go on to the trip control buttons right here. So let me switch it down. As you can see, it's changing. Just that these clusters are very bad, man. You can't really see what's happening, but as I'm pressing, this is changing. This is changing. So let me see and press OK. Okay, it does change. It says 9 hours 56 minutes. Okay. These do not work because I think this instrument cluster does not support changing between the menus. But when we upgrade into the new instrument cluster, I think these are going to work. This works so much. So now we need to check whether push to talk does work or not. So I need to connect the phone with Bluetooth onto the radio and see if it works. But for now, I can just press this and see. Let me press push to talk. It says your voice operation not supported. I think it's because I did not connect the phone. Let me press on the phone button and see what happens on the stereo. Nothing happens. So, oh, it says Bluetooth devices. So it's trying to connect with the phone because the phone is not connected. So for you to make a call, you need to have connected via Bluetooth. I don't want to connect right now because I'm making this video. So it seems like everything works, guys, because I don't see any issue. I really do not see any issue. How do I then cancel this because I don't want it? Okay, so for me, it seems fine. My issue is this now no longer works. So now I can just remove the OBD11 because we're done with coding. Okay guys, so that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching today's video and subscribing onto the channel and liking the video. So what is left for me to do is to figure out how can I make the cruise control work. Besides that, I think everything is working fine. The buttons are working very well, so there's nothing else that's left to do. So that's how you upgrade your steering wheel on a VW Jetta Mk5. So until next time, we out. I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way.